For over 188 years, we believed there was only one King Cobra. But what if I told you that the most feared snake in the world was never one species at all? Turns out the King Cobra may be one of the biggest snake scams in history. And recent DNA breakthroughs have revealed something shocking. The King Cobra is actually four genetically distinct superspecies, each deadlier and more unique than we ever imagined. And to make matters even weirder, these super cobras are totally interbred with each other, which means that any one King Cobra could be all four species at once. This discovery changes everything we know about antivenom research, conservation, and snake evolution. So here's the real story of the King Cobra and how science can change the world for the better. As I mentioned, for over 188 years, we considered the King Cobra to be just one species, Naya. It all started back in 1833, when British physician and naturalist John Edward Gray classified the snake. He named it Naya, which means venomous, and Naya, which refers to the hood the snake can spread when threatened. Later, scientists split the original group into different species based on location. There's the Indian King Cobra, the Philippine King Cobra, the African King Cobra, and the Chinese King Cobra. But despite their different looks and behaviors, we still considered them all to be one overarching species. But then in 2020, a team of scientists from the University of Melbourne sequenced the entire genome of 468 King Cobras and found that not only were they actually four different species, but that these species had been interbreeding with each other for hundreds of thousands of years. And this has created an incredible genetic mess. You see, when genes from two different species come together, scientists can tell because the DNA is slightly different from both parents. This is called hybrid DNA. Now, when they analyzed the DNA of the King Cobras, they noticed that almost all of them had hybrid DNA, and this suggested that all King Cobras are actually a mix of the four species. To confirm this, they did something crazy. They recreated the evolutionary history of the King Cobra using computer modeling. Their goal was to try and work backward and figure out how many species there really were. And what they found was shocking. Instead of evolving from one common ancestor, there were multiple. There were actually four separate ancestral populations, one in South India, one in Southeast Asia, one in China, and one in Africa. And all four independently evolved into the modern King Cobras we know today. These four groups remained separate until they began interbreeding around 200,000 years ago. And since then, they've all mixed together so much that sometimes it's hard to tell them apart. Now, to understand why this is such a big deal, let me give you some background on King Cobras. First off, they are huge, like seriously massive. We're talking up to 7 meters long and 700 kilograms heavy. That's the size of a small car. And get this, they can grow up to 1 meter in length every year. Talk about rapid growth. And no wonder they're considered the largest venomous snakes in the world. Their venom is a cocktail of neurotoxins, cytotoxins, and cardiotoxins. Neurotoxins affect the nervous system, causing paralysis. Cytotoxins destroy cells and tissues. And cardiotoxins target the heart, increasing the risk of heart attacks. To make things even scarier, they're also known as the spitting cobra. They can shoot venom from their mouths at their prey or their attackers. But wait, there's more. King Cobras have a special talent. They can eat other snakes, including venomous ones. And they don't just eat them. They inject a cocktail of neurotoxins that paralyzes the other snake within minutes. How cool is that? Now, before we move on, I need you to smash that like button. Okay. Now back to the video. You might be wondering, why does any of this matter, right? Why should we care about these scary snakes? Well, here's why. King Cobras are responsible for thousands of deaths each year, mostly in rural areas of Asia and Africa. In India alone, there are around 2,000 deaths per year. That's why antivenom is so important. It's the best way to treat snake bites and save lives, but there's a problem. The antivenom we use is based on the Indian King Cobra, But now that we know there are 4 different types of King Cobra, it turns out that the antivenom isn't effective against the other 3. So basically the antivenom we use in India won't work in Africa or Southeast Asia. This is a huge deal because it means that thousands of people are dying each year because of the wrong antivenom. Luckily, this discovery has prompted a race to create new and better antivenoms for all 4 types of King Cobra, and it's already made a huge impact. In 2022, one study reported that a new type of antivenom was able to save the lives of monkeys who were bitten by all 4 superspecies of King Cobra. This brings me to my next point. If we had known about these 4 different species earlier, we might have been able to prevent some of the problems they face today. Like habitat loss, you see, King Cobras live in a variety of habitats, from forests to swamps to grasslands, that they need specific conditions to survive. For example, they need shade to regulate their body temperature and they need water to stay hydrated. When their habitats are destroyed, they're forced to move into new areas where they can come into conflict with humans. So if we had known about the 4 different species earlier, we might have been able to protect their habitats and prevent them from becoming endangered. Here's another thing. King Cobras are often killed because they're considered dangerous. But if we had known about the 4 different species earlier, we might have been able to develop better ways to coexist with them. For example, we might have been able to find ways to reduce the number of snake bites, or develop new technologies to safely relocate snakes. I know this might sound crazy, but hear me out. King Cobras are actually beneficial for the environment. They help control populations of rodents and other pests. Plus, they're an important part of the food chain. When they die, they provide nutrients for other animals and plants. By protecting King Cobras, we're actually helping to preserve the balance of nature. So hopefully this discovery will raise awareness about the importance of King Cobras and inspire more people to protect them. I mean, think about it. If we can appreciate the unique beauty and diversity of King Cobras, we can create a better future for both ourselves and these amazing creatures. And look, I know this stuff can get a bit complicated and confusing, but trust me, it's worth understanding. The more we learn about the natural world, the better equipped we are to take care of it. It's not just about knowing the difference between King Cobras and being able to protect them. It's about understanding the interconnectedness of all living things and our place in the web of life. It's about appreciating the complexity and wonder of the natural world and recognizing that we're all part of it. So yeah, maybe it's worth brushing up on your biology and learning a few more science facts. You never know when they might come in handy. Like what if you were out hiking and you saw a snake? You might want to know what kind of snake it was before you try to pick it up. Or what if you were at a party and someone brought up the topic of King Cobras? You'd be the one everyone looked up to. And hey, if you're still watching this video, chances are you love learning cool stuff. So why not show us some love and hit that subscribe button? Trust me, we have plenty more videos that will blow your mind. Okay, now here's the big question. What else do we believe that's completely wrong? You might be surprised to learn that we used to think the moon was made of cheese. But it turns out that it's actually made of rock. Who knows what other things we might be wrong about? So keep questioning everything and never stop learning. After all, the more we learn, the more we realize how much we don't know. And that's what makes science so exciting. There's always something new to discover. Alright, thanks for watching. Until next time, stay curious.